Okay, let's jump right into today's explainer. We're unpacking a really beautiful, deeply personal story today, titled My First E-Bike Ride to Church, A New Ministry Begins. Picture this. It's a super quiet, early morning in Euclid, Ohio. The sun is just peeking over the horizon, birds are doing their thing, the neighborhood is totally still, and sitting right there in a driveway is a bright, ruby-colored Heybike. Now, what makes this whole narrative so captivating is that we aren't just talking about a morning commute here. No, it's a step-by-step account of a real journey. We're gonna follow the rider as she tackles a massive physical and mental challenge, one that honestly ends up turning into this incredibly profound spiritual experience. Right off the bat, the source hooks us with this absolutely brilliant thought. Sometimes faith moves before confidence arrives. You know, the whole point here is that this ride, it was never about perfection, not even a little. It wasn't about magically being an expert cyclist on day one. Instead, it's about raw courage. The courage it takes to just start something, to launch a brand new ministry, way before you actually feel ready for it. I mean, the rider had been practicing for weeks, getting the balance down, figuring out the controls, just trying to trust herself. But taking it out on the open road all the way to church, man, that required a massive leap of faith before the confidence was fully baked in. So let's map out the exact geography of what I like to call her micro-hero's journey. It starts at step 1, right in the driveway, checking the battery, taking that deep breath. Then, step 2, the totally daunting Babbitt Road. Step 3 is a much-needed pit stop at Burger King, which leads us to step 4, Lakeshore Boulevard. And finally, step 5, the ultimate destination, the church. Mapping it out like this really helps us track her progress through these distinct phases of physical effort and mental endurance.
All right, let's dive into phase 1, the uphill climb.
So, Babbitt Road. This was the specific stretch of the journey she was dreading the most. Just imagine the scene for a second. Cars are whipping by, traffic is fully moving, and she's facing this heavy, grueling incline. This wasn't just a physical strain. It was a massive mental struggle. She's out there, completely exposed, testing her physical endurance and her brand new e-bike skills all at the exact same time. And faced with that intense climb, she makes this brilliant, critical decision. She decides that wisdom looks like choosing safety over pride. She actually starts alternating between the street and the sidewalk. And as the source notes, this wasn't because she couldn't ride. It was because she was still learning. She wasn't out there trying to show off or pretend she was some Tour de France pro. Her only goal was survival and arrival. It's such a great reminder, right? When you're tackling something totally new, protecting yourself and actually reaching your goal is way more important than how you look doing it. Which brings us right to the next chapter of our journey, the stop at Burger King and Lakeshore Boulevard. Okay, so that uphill climb took a massive toll. By the time she made it to Burger King, she was completely spent. The physical demands of that hill were just way beyond what she had anticipated. She had to rip her helmet off, gasping for air, wiping the sweat out of her eyes. Actually, she was so drained that she had to get off the bike completely. From Burger King, she literally walked that ruby-colored Heybike all the way up to Lakeshore Boulevard. And right there, it brings up this huge universal decision point. Do you turn around or do you keep going? She's sitting there at the boulevard, sweating profusely, just trying to catch her breath while cars cruise past. The tension in the narrative right here is just palpable. She could have so easily turned around. She could have called a friend for a ride, and honestly, absolutely no one would have blamed her. But she had to make that hard choice right there on the side of the road. Well, she chose to keep going, and that decision led to an incredible breakthrough. You see, confidence comes after we refuse to quit. Once she got back on that saddle and the wheels started turning again, something magical happened. Earlier that morning, the e-bike's throttle was super confusing. It just didn't make sense to her. But suddenly, click, everything made sense. She finally understood exactly how to use it. This part of the story so perfectly illustrates that perseverance breeds understanding. By flat out refusing to give up during the absolute hardest part of the ride, she unlocked the exact skills she needed to succeed. Moving on to phase 3, the arrival and the reward. After everything she went through, she finally makes it. The church comes into view, she parks the Heybike and pulls off that helmet. And yeah, the text notes she was running a little late, but she made it. It's this beautiful, quiet, triumphant moment. She did something she honestly wasn't sure she could pull off when she first rolled out of her driveway. And it's so fascinating to look at her physical reality versus her emotional reality in that moment. Physically, her hair is damp, her helmet is soaked, and her body is just totally exhausted. But emotionally, oh man, she had achieved the impossible. She felt totally victorious, and most importantly, she was ready to serve. The sheer physical exhaustion was just completely overshadowed by this immense emotional and spiritual victory.
And the rewards didn't just stop at simply arriving. The source talks about these amazing divine surprises waiting for her at church. First up, during the service, she was totally caught off guard when they recognized her with gifts for her years of service, thanking her for always being available to help others. But the second part is what really gives you goosebumps. The sermon that day? It was titled Built to Serve, straight out of Acts chapter 6. The synchronicity there is just wild. After that grueling journey, these little divine moments completely validated all her effort. It was the perfect reminder that she was there to serve, just maybe in a totally new way now.
And that brings us to chapter 4, The Ride Home, which is really all about honesty and growth. Now, you might think a triumphant story like this ends with her bravely riding off into the sunset all the way back home. But real growth requires honesty, not pretending. When church wrapped up, she knew she just wasn't ready to ride back. So she humbly accepted a lift in a blue Ford pickup truck with a couple of brothers from the church who carefully loaded her e-bike right into the back. And you know what? There was absolutely no shame in admitting she had hit her limit for the day. During that ride, one of the guys smiled and told her she had ridden a really long way. Later on, she actually mapped the exact distance. It was 4.5 miles. Now, if you're a seasoned cyclist, 4.5 miles is basically a warm-up. But as the source so beautifully puts it, for this rider, it represented monumental progress. It was the physical distance that birthed an entirely new ministry.
So the big takeaway here is how this journey totally redefines our traditional concept of what a ministry is. It's not always standing behind a pulpit with a microphone or leading a massive Bible study. According to this text, a ministry can happen one single mile, one conversation, one act of kindness, and one testimony at a time. It just goes to show how God can use literally anything, yes, even a ruby-colored e-bike, to carry someone exactly to their purpose.
Which brings us to this perfectly placed ancient wisdom from Lao Tzu. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, or in this case, a single pedal stroke. The author points out that, sure, there were moments of deep uncertainty, serious fatigue, and moments where she had to walk instead of ride. But the defining factor? She never quit. Because she took that literal first step, this brand new e-bike ministry officially kicked off. In fact, she even makes a promise in the text to bring a camera next time, inviting all of us to ride along and witness exactly where this journey goes next. To wrap things up, the source leaves us with this incredibly powerful scripture from Isaiah 40:31. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. It really is the ultimate summary of her entire morning. So, as we close out today's explainer, I want to leave you with a question to chew on. Where in your own life are you currently walking or waiting? Because just like our rider pushing that heavy bike up to Lakeshore Boulevard, those totally exhausting moments of walking, they might just be the very start of something absolutely beautiful. Thanks so much for hanging out and unpacking this amazing story with me today.